currently a mentor advocate and who's just taken on an exciting new role at IRIS as product development coordinator.
Hello everyone. Wow. Alright, so for our mentors, we broke out and had a little conversation about what we're going to do. We did a stop, start, and continue analysis. And just have a little
Can you put your mic up?
Can you hear me now?
Beautiful.
Excellent. All right. So with our start, one of the things we just discussed is whether or not it would be worthwhile to do some group mentoring. Some of the mentors would like to meet up with other mentors and their mentees and just have a coffee and see how that type of session might go. In the same vein, however, some people said that it wouldn't work for them. So what we decided that we would also put into the continue column was to make an agreement with how you're going to work with your mentees and let everyone pretty much on their own decide with their mentees how they're going to structure their mentoring. So there is, I think, a bit of an appetite for some people to get together if you want to make some subgroups and whatnot. And for those of you who don't wish to, then obviously you can continue to have your one-to-ones. And there is definitely a strong feeling that even if you do meet up with the groups, that we would like to maintain one-to-one meetings as well, because we feel that they're very beneficial. The next thing that came up under the start category was whether or not we should start an email group with topical interests. So for example, somebody came up and discussed risk management and said, well, if my mentee says that they want to discuss risk management, maybe I could turn to the other mentors and put up something on that topic and see what comes back so that I'm prepared for the session, or if we just get some other insight and whatnot. And maybe just for interest for the mentors to talk to each other and that sort of thing. So we're thinking about starting an email group. And under that category was also a mentoring network to support one another. And we were considering either using an email group as a forum. And there were some people that were not so happy with that. There was the idea of, well, would there be confidentiality issues and whatnot? And in that vein, there was the affirmation that we have to continue with confidentiality, building trust and building the relationships. And so that if we were to do something like that, we would be talking about mentees in any personal sense, more of the overarching mentoring ideas and that sort of thing. What we should start doing. Apparently, last time we had this, we did talk about having some group mentoring, and we did talk about having mentors support one another in a forum, but we didn't have any follow-up on it. So this time we said that we should start following up and actually making sure that we're doing that in one person. Oliver kindly volunteered to follow up with some of the tasks on this, so thanks. We did want to continue with, some people are doing an affirmation during their session. So at the end of the mentoring session, checking with the mentee, what did you get out of this? Are you, satisfied with what's going on? And another mentor stated that they actually create a milestone sometime through the program or see whether or not the mentee built in wants to continue the relationship and checks in on that. So we have that for other people to consider doing. And it seems like the mentors that are really enjoying it have at least some level, although it's quite different from mentor to mentor, of formality around what they're doing. So sometimes they have an agenda before their meeting, or sometimes they just make sure to ask a question about what's going on in their mentees' lives. So just the idea to have a bit of a think about mentoring before just jumping into the session seems to be a little bit of a trend. Only two things were on the stop list, and I'm not sure if they were hard things to stop or if it was more like this might not be beneficial. One of them was the one-to-many mentor-mentee meetings, and that was apparently, I don't know if there's the specifics of it, but a mentor meeting with both of their mentees if they had more than one, and always having that meeting, so not able to get a one-to-one, mentee not being able to have a one-to-one session. And that was something that was viewed as not as beneficial for the mentees, and the mentees were a little bit concerned about not having that type of support. And the other one was, apparently some mentees have registered more than one mentor, and the other mentors weren't aware that the mentee had done this. And we were talking about whether or not it's important or if there should be some limits. And generally speaking, we don't think that there should be. We don't think that there should be rules around who can talk to whom. However, in the formal context of the PMI mentoring program, there's only 70 mentors and there's over 120 mentees. So we've thought that maybe we should look at having an agreement of transparency, that if a mentee signs up more than one mentor, that the mentors will be alerted that that mentee has more than one mentor so they can decide if they want to continue. So those are our stops and our continues. I've already touched on most of them. More to continue having confidentiality and building trusting relationships. Continue to make agreements with your mentee about how you're going to work and allow it to be your relationship and for you both to own it without too many rules being handed from the outside. Transparency of multiple members, and collect goals at the beginning and review them throughout just to see how did that progress and what is the mentee getting out of it. And that concluded our feedback session. So thank you very much.